I'm gonna do something a little different with this drash, so I hope you'll bear with me, right? Drash, sometimes we think about it for like lidrosh, right, in the sort of biblical sense to demand or request, but drash like midrash, to expound upon. And since we have some of our younger members here in abundance tonight, I'm gonna try and speak it at your level, and then everyone else will catch up, hopefully. So let's talk about idolatry. What's idolatry? I should have seen that coming. Yes?
I said it's like when we have a president like we have right now.
Okay, not going there. What's idolatry? No, really. I know, I deserved this, but I'm going to see it through. Worship of something other than God. Worship of another God. Worship of something other than God. And that's one of the top 10 in Judaism. It's a big deal. And it's very relevant this week because we have the story of the golden calf. Am I too loud or is it just me? Okay. The golden calf, is everyone familiar with this story? And I'm looking at my target demographic here. Yes? Yes? All right. The short recap is this. Moses is gone. I'm going to skim through it really fast, right? Moses is gone 40 days and 40 nights. And the people say, we're in Exodus 32 for those following. The people say, right, we don't know what happened to that man Moses. They say literally, that man Moses. Come, let us make a new Elohim. For we don't know. We got to make a new one. Elohim, traditionally translated as God. This is a problem. Because, and this is where the idolatry part comes in. They're going to make a new, what the heck? If you had just, this has baffled commentators for a long time. If you had just left Egypt, right? If in front of you a divine being had split an ocean, would you be inclined to be like, yeah, well, he's late. Let's make another one. It's like the Uber driver. You got 2 minutes, and if you're not there, too bad. What? Why? And our commentators struggle with this. And if you read our commentators, one of our commentators, Rashi, these are our medieval sort of rabbis, or oral Torah period is closed. We're moving on to medieval times. And Rashi has this, he gets very creative trying to explain this, right? They didn't count the time quite right. They started here. Yes, I thought so as well. And Satan shows up, and there's a thing in the air. They couldn't quite make it. It's a lot. If you're like me, you find that a little unsatisfying because it just doesn't make sense that you would be following a cloud by day, a pillar of fire by night, and then you'd be like, well, that's it. It doesn't track. So, when I was in yeshiva back in the day, this teacher, Rabbi Gottlieb, and he suggested something quite different. There are these two rabbis, of all the rabbis, Rambam and Ramban, or Maimonides and Nachmanides, they're the geniuses among the geniuses. Not because, by the way, of their any greater insight, but really because of their maybe greater ability to explain things. They're a little like, Niels Bohr and Albert Einstein in that way. And Maimonides mentions in the intro to his book, The Guide to the Perplexed, he says, Elohim, you got to understand it's a homonym. Because if you look in Genesis, most of the time it means God. But there's a couple points where it means judges, or lordly figures, or, lords, elevated beings, divine beings like angels occasionally. And so Ramban takes this, and he says, wait a second. Let's rewrite the story. What happened? It's a group of people sitting at the foot of Sinai. They're very anxious. Maybe they messed up the time, who knows? And what do? They're like, we don't know what happened to Moses. But actually, the thing we really want is a connection to divinity. They're not saying, let's make a new God. It's often translated like that. No, no, no. What they're saying is, let's make a new let's make a new Moses. Let's replace our leader because our anxieties have got the best of us. This is still heresy, by the way. Right? Heresy from the Greek heresis means to choose. That's the root word of it. But I think it's really important to think about, like, all the people involved in this heresy, in this understanding, wanted to do a really good thing. Isn't that how heresy works? Maybe not. We don't really think, if I say who's an idolater, who's a heretic, with certain exceptions, like, most of us are not like, oh, that's me. Well, I want to meet the rest of you, though. But in fact, we see something quite different happening here. These are people who, in the heat of a moment, got caught up, let their anxieties take charge, let their anxieties blind them to the greater context of a situation. Friends, I see these golden calf moments. No one here thinks about the story and thinks, oh, I'm going to make a calf. That's just not a thing. Oh, let's melt down my wedding ring. No one does that. But in fact, we're all doing some version of it. That's why it's really important. These golden calf moments occur when we say, I talked to a student who said, I know I should be focusing in school, but frankly, I get overwhelmed, and I just find myself playing video games. They happen when I talked to someone else the other day who said, you know what? I don't even know I was involved in that. I just got caught up. We have golden calf moments all the time. To err is human. To be an idolater is not some crazy thing. It's actually to be human. But the point of this week's Parshat, to make it relevant, so it's not just words on a page, is actually to think about, wait a second, how is it that I know I'm prone to these golden calf moments? These moments I let my fears, my anxieties override my greater judgment. How is it that I can use my tradition, my spirituality, stop quite being so human in that moment, to reach safely towards something quite divine? Food for thought. Shabbat shalom.